Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. We are analyzing page 2 of the Affidavit of Probable Cause in the case styled as State of Idaho versus Brian C. Kohberger. And here at page 2, Detective Payne refers to an autopsy report. The medical examiner's name is completely redacted. It is dated December 15th, 2022, and it is the medical report, the autopsy report belonging to Ethan Chapin. It states that he succumbed by sharp force injuries. Notably, Ethan is the only of the 4 victims who had an autopsy report that was discussed in the Affidavit of Probable Cause. If there were other autopsies, they are not discussed anywhere in this affidavit. Detective Payne goes on to state that he left the 2nd floor. He followed first responder Officer Smith up to the 3rd floor of the residence, which consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to belong to victim Kaylee Goncalves. He later learned from a review of first responder Officer Nunez's body camera that there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. Detective Payne states that the dog belonged to Goncalves and her ex-boyfriend Jack DeCour. Detective Payne found out from his interview with Jack DeCour on November 13th, 2022, that he and Kaylee shared the dog, who was later determined to be called Murphy. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor, which shared a wall with victim Madison Mogen's bedroom. As Detective Payne entered the Mogen bedroom, he writes that he could see 2 females in the single bed in the room and that both Kaylee and Madison were deceased with visible stab wounds. Notably, quote, I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath lying on the bed next to Mogen's right side, parentheses, when viewed from the door, end of parentheses. This is a controversial, much discussed topic because if he had access to first responder Nunez's body cam and the other first responder, Smith, has actually taken him up to the 3rd floor and Detective Payne walked into the Mogen bedroom, why didn't he initially see this knife sheath? That is a question that remains unanswered at this time. Detective Payne writes that the Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA that was left on the button snap of that knife sheath. And this will be an important topic as we get further on in the affidavit. Page 2 concludes with the paragraph stating that numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents, and that 2 of these interviews included BF and DM. Now, we noticed earlier that Detective Payne gave Jack DeCour's name in full. He redacted the medical examiner's name, and he also only states these 2 surviving roommates by initials. And he states here that both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom, according to Detective Payne, was located on the east side of the 1st floor of the King Road residence. This now concludes page 2 in our analysis of the Affidavit of Probable Cause. Please join us when we next will evaluate page 3 of the affidavit. This is Kathy. Thank you for joining us today here at the Indie Zone.